Welcome back to the Papa Mate channel. How you doing? Come on and sit down because today we're talking about everybody's favorite relationship status. Being polyamorous. I don't know. Is that polyamorous? Polygamy. We're talking about the nuts and bolts in the of it all, huh? You know, we live in an age of sex positivity. Every day we see more and more people setting aside the traditional concept of love and relationships in exchange for a potentially more freeing and exciting lifestyle. AKA, you get to just swap spit with everybody.
Sinners.
Heathens. Downright goobers. You know what, off the cuff, before we even go into it, what do you think, Nick?
As long as you're not hurting nobody, I don't care. But for me, I couldn't do it. Be too jealous. Thinking about his, you know.
As long as you're not hurting anybody or thinking about his seed.
My thing is, I would definitely be like the third wheel.
Yeah, they're having dinner or whatever, and you're in the back of the car like, can you give me some onion rings? Yeah, we'll see. Pipsqueak.
Yeah, they're bullying me.
She's gonna have sex with you. You're my boyfriend. Paid the electricity bill. I'm just happy to be here. You know what I say? I say this. You know what? I bet there's some people out there where it works just fine. I think in a lot of regards, I think it's a lot of bullshit.
Everybody that I know has been in a poly relationship. They've broken up because one of them ends up putting someone behind their back.
Yeah, it's weird. It's supposed to be this open thing, but it's, I don't know. You can't escape that primal jealousy. You know what I mean? Our monkey brains, we can't handle it. And every year, polyamory continues to grow in popularity, likely due to its rise in representation in popular culture like TV, movies, and dating apps. Being polyamorous essentially means having more than one partner. That's what it means. Why would you want the hassle?
I could hardly keep up with one.
Oh, God, dude. Relationships are very difficult. Did you even just sit there and be like, let's throw in relationships are very difficult. Did you even just sit there and be like, let's throw in another egg in the mix? Oh, God, please, could I? Sleepless nights, please. Could I, please?
For me, when I got Teddy, I was like, oh, I'll get Max as a second dog so they can be friends. Now it's just a bigger headache for me.
I just want to say, I'm going to put out there, kind of makes it seem like you're in a relationship with your dogs. I can only afford so much peanut butter. It always feels like poly relationships are people who are too spineless to break up with somebody. They're like, can we bring in someone else? And they're just trying to transition someone out of their life. I think that we're just wanting somebody else in our group instead of just being like, I don't like you anymore. I want to break up. That's how I look at it a lot of the times. And also too, you can get out and still.
Or you found your new favorite. This thing is just kind of like your side.
What the fuck is that phrase? It's like, get your cake and eat it too or whatever. There's no way I said that right. It's like baking a cake and eating it. There's certainly a large group that continues to stigmatize the poly lifestyle, believing that being monogamous is the true natural order of things. Some believe that the cost of living has risen so much that people no longer strive for the financial benefits of marriage, instead opting for non-traditional family structures. Believe it or not, it was revealed in 2023 that 19% of adults from the UK participated in polyamorous or non-monogamous relationships. Like it or not, lifestyle isn't going anywhere. So if you're considering the poly lifestyle and don't know where to start, look no further, my friends. Today we're going to talk about the convoluted world of poly relationships.
Because it gets complicated.
We've got a lot of vocabulary to review. Get your notebook and pens out because it's more convoluted than you think. These are the types of polyamorous relationships, my friends. 1, polyamory, right? This is one we know. I'm going to also probably pronounce these wrong. We just need to know that that's usually what happens with these things, so don't know I'm supposed to tell you. Polyamory comes from the Greek word poly, meaning many, and amor, which means love. It's a lifestyle that entails having multiple partners. This type of relationship requires consent from all people involved on top of having its own unique set of boundaries and responsibilities. Doesn't that sound fun? In this arrangement, people are allowed to form new relationships outside the group. This information needs to be communicated to the other partners, and some groups require an open approval system and requires you to have their permission to engage. So you're in this wolf pack, right? And then you're like this other thing, like, well, we're already doing this thing. I'm just going to go do this. You need a written letter of approval from your wolf pack before you can go out on the hunt again. How f is that, dude?
Pretty soon you're going to be outnumbered the more people get in.
Then the larger your group becomes, it's like, it's a 3-to-1 vote, dude. We don't like Jacob, man. You're not going to fuck him. Those are the rules. It's like, what do you have to do? As a 30-day notice also if you want to leave. Don't forget that there is the $250 deposit fee. It is what it is.
What if you start growing this pack and then everybody kicks you out?
That is how it has to be. Because also, too, I'm going to say this, in every poly group, there's just one, like, pig. That everybody is like, oh, I like this person. person. You know what I mean? Because I would imagine a lot of poly relationships, if you're a poly guy and you like a girl, but then the rest of the guys, are they gay for each other too? Some of them are. You went on that one though, remember, where they were like testing it out to see if you want to like fuck them?
Oh, I never went on a date.
I thought you went to dinner with them.
No, they offered.
Oh, they offered it.
That's as far as it got, and I think the next day I was like, that's not for me.
But you were considering for a second.
Well, the whole thing was like, he wouldn't fuck you, but he definitely wants to touch your balls.
I still like how there's like a thing of you like in your room like drinking wine being like, go on. Could you give me a day to think about it? Could you give me a brisk 24? This means that even in a relationship involving multiple people, it's still technically possible to cheat in the established rules if the established rules are broken. So if you go on and fuck somebody else, they're like, you just cheated on all of us. And then we move on to polyfidelity. It's another form of polyamorous relationships in which those involved have agreed to not expand the relationship beyond the initial group, choosing to stay more exclusive. This is the tighter knit wolf pack, right? You howl together. Also, in polyamorous relationships, they probably say that too because they're just like, we don't want you f***ing some random person and then bringing that disease back into the group, which makes sense, but also a little silly still.
You gotta get tested to get in the wolf pack.
Yeah, exactly. Also, they're trying to act like in a poly relationship, whatever, trying to act like, you know, we're the clean ones. Imagine me, blue hair, my eyes are even more gaunt. I don't want someone else, I don't want to swap someone else's spit. You know what I mean? Got Cheeto dust all over my fucking like hands and my shirt. Common polyfidelity setups include a triad, where 3 people are involved with each other romantically and sexually, or a quad involving 4 people. A triad is not to be confused with a V, which is when one partner has 2 romantic partners that are in no way involved with each other. In a V, a hinge is the shared partner between the 2. Are you keeping up? And many polyamorous relationships are hierarchical. Many polyamorous relationships have a hierarchy consisting of a primary and a secondary relationship structure that dictates their priority.
There it is. There it is. I'm gonna be at the bottom of the totem pole.
Exactly. We're getting into it, but it feels fucked up that you are in this relationship and then they have a designated dog. You know what I mean? So yeah, you get the sometimes. You know, on a blue moon on Christmas. What about Kwanzaa? Do keep pushing your luck, pal. For example, a primary relationship may form between the 2 that spend the most time together. They may even get married, live together, and have children. And for the secondary relationship, they often receive less time than the primary, as well as having less influence in making decisions. I have a full relationship, and this is just my dog that gives me gifts and I get attention from when I'm tired of my primary. This does not feel like the most selfish thing imaginable. Only one person is benefiting from everything. The woman. And an anchor partner is the non-hierarchical relationship equivalent of a primary partner, being the one that is the most stable and reliable figure within the group. The person that has a job. Okay. Can we at least say what it is? The guy who's working full time. That's the anchor partner, all right? Within polyamorous relationships, there are also those known as comets, which are people in the relationship that you do not contact nearly as frequently, whether it's due to conflicting schedules or distance to each other. Comets, aka buddies. I don't know, we can call it whatever cosmic thing we want to call it. That's what that is. Or no, it's not even a relationship, it's just they come over sometime. They're coming. Pass by. There's also polygamy, which requires being married to multiple spouses. This takes place in the form of polygamy, where one man is married to multiple women, or polyandry, where one woman is married to multiple men, aka my boys in the Mormon church. They live on compounds, and it's like really that one show. It's like one dude, 5 wives or whatever. It's too, because it's just like he keeps marrying younger women. So the first wife, she's just like, we used to have a lot of fun back in the day, and then he's like only spends time at like the younger person's house. He has like multiple houses in this cul-de-sac, and he's just like, on Mondays I sleep here, on Tuesdays I sleep here. It's so but as you can see, as we start to get into the hyper-specific poly arrangements, things start to get a little complex. For example, the phrase solo poly, which you would think that's just a regular person, right? But a solo poly is ascribed to those who are single and polyamorous, choosing to prioritize their own needs even while engaging with multiple partners. They often prefer not to have a nesting partner, a term used to describe the partner that you choose to live with.
Yeah, so you're just sleeping around.
Okay, yes, it could look like you being a buddy who's basically just a couch potato hopping from house to house or from nest to nest. Ooh. You're a couch server. You're a whore. You're a homeless person having sex with random people. Oh, it's a nest. You're not a bird. You're a whore. Solo poly people can also engage in parallel polyamory. Feel like a Doctor Strange or something. I'm like... Parallel polyamory, where their various partners are aware of each other but don't meet or interact with each other.
Do not talk to him.
Yeah, so it's like you know of their existence, but you don't ever want to speak to them, which to me also means that person does not know about you. There's also monopoly, where only one member in a couple engages in polyamorous relationships. Some couples use this setup to save a relationship when one partner has a tendency to cheat, which doesn't always end well. I know you're going to cheat, but I love you, so go out there and do it. Isn't that just called a hall pass?
I guess so, yeah.
Wouldn't he just be like, yeah, go ahead? Unless he's just like, babe, you can't keep this dog on a leash. For those who reject normative relationship structures, there's relationship anarchy. This means that so long as there is mutual respect between partners, you can follow your heart and structure things as you see fit. Relationship anarchy has a negative connotation to many, as some will use it as an excuse to be selfish, cheat, and manipulate people. However, there is more to this lifestyle. Relationship anarchy can be, for example, building a family that consists of not only romantic partners, but platonic friends. A polycule, also known as a polyweb or a polyfamily, is the connection made among various people living in polyamorous lifestyles. Essentially, it's a family in which you are not only connected by your own partners, but your partner's partner, and so on. And not all members of the polycule need to be romantically entangled. It's a portmanteau of the words polyamory and molecule. Some people who participate in this will create charts to explain the complex web of relationships contained in their polycule. You probably thought you were on Ancestry.com. No. This is a polycule, my friends.
I like how it's showing former partners. Well, we were dating, and I was a part of their thing.
What's the thing, dude? You gotta have a little ancestry. You gotta have a little family tree of your polycule. Because you probably are also like, I might go back. I feel like these are like little islands. They're like little Mario worlds you get to travel to.
What are some of these asexual, non-sexual partnerships? Long distance?
I like how it's just friend. Non-sexual partnership, so it's a buddy. I'm gonna say every one of my employees now. I'm in a polyamorous relationship with all of them.
That's what I was gonna say. That'd be kind of fucked up if it's just like I'm just friends with these guys.
No, you're in the polycule. If I went over to my buddy's house and we were like, yeah, we watch football and we drink beers, and I look over and there's a tack board that's at a polycule and my face is on it, I'm gonna be pissed. But this can result in a tight-knit family-like dynamic that consists of multiple different relationships who are on romantic or friendly terms, known as kitchen table polyamory. Some polycules keep their relationships fairly separated and private, but are still comfortable occasionally meeting up without responsibility or fully merging the two groups' lives together. This is known as garden party polyamory. It borders on cult-like mentality.
A little, yeah.
We can also talk about compersion, which is the feeling happiness on behalf of your partner who is in another relationship. The word frugal is an informal and playful variation of the word. All right, so I just... a lot of poly talk. I'm going to be throwing a lot of shit at you. I'm getting lost myself. I'm getting lost in the sauce. Metamor, which is your partner's partner, whom you are not directly engaged with romantically or sexually. This is like the person, my partner's partner. So it's like I'm in a relationship with her, but she goes and meets up with her other boyfriend at Taco Tuesday, whatever, El Sombrero. Yeah, exactly. We also have the unicorn, which is a woman, usually bisexual, who wants to be in a relationship with both the man and the woman that are together. Unicorn hunting refers to the heterosexual couple's pursuit in finding that person. You were a unicorn. How does that feel?
Special.
That feels kind of sick that you're a unicorn. Would you reconsider if they would have told you you're a unicorn?
Yeah, maybe if they use that language.
If he wouldn't have said he wants to touch your balls, why that?
As a test, I think, of just like, he's attracted to you, so we'll start off slow.
We'll start off slow. He's gonna slap your balls around like a boxer, one of those bags. And then there's cowboys and cowgirls, which is someone who enters a polyamorous relationship only to try and convince one of their partners to leave and enter a monogamous one. So that's like a homewrecker. You don't want to be a cowboy or a cowgirl. They're like, hey, I'm going to join this thing. Get me the fuck out of here. Let's go. I like you and not him.
You're the villain. You're Sauron.
You're a terrorist. You're Sauron. You're a terrorist. With that said, it doesn't take a genius to understand that poly relationships are open to tons and tons of complications, right? Having a healthy monogamous relationship is already hard enough, so managing several can often lead to a lot of problems. A polyamorous relationship is no place for people who struggle with proper communication, as it can easily make or break the entire thing. These setups often have lots of boundaries, rules, and expectations that need to be addressed to avoid misunderstanding and hurt people's feelings. A big issue for poly relationships is jealousy. More commonly, with people who are new to the scene, the excitement of a new partner coming into the mix can turn into jealousy quickly, depending on the person and how it's handled. With so many people involved, this means having to make time for multiple people so nobody feels neglected. And to do this, you need to now juggle multiple schedules and manage your time, something that can become very mentally taxing. Imagine, when you're just like, I need a break from work. How many times have I been out? I've been like, oh, you want to go do this? And I'm like, yeah, you do it anyways because you're just like, what am I? I'm not an ass. Imagine having to do that 2 times or 3 times, like back to back. All right, I went to this one. What about me? You know what I mean? It's one of those things, knock, knock. Oh, goddamn, dude. It's a common joke that people in large poly relationships need to master using Google Calendar to organize their time. Some people on the r/polyamory subreddit even post detailed guides on how to be the most efficient with the app. And speaking of r/polyamory, let's look at potential complaints people have had with polyamorous relationships to get a glimpse of what could go wrong. Which someone says, many people, especially men, but not always, use polyamory just as an excuse to have a harem and not really have a mutual love relationship with multiple partners. Yeah. Like what? No shit. What do you mean? Can you believe they just want to He doesn't actually want to go to the rave with me. He just wants to fuck me. He doesn't actually want to go to Joann's Fabric and pick up yarn. He just wants to have sex. It's like, yeah, duh.
How do people manage their sex schedule? I have 3 partners. 2 of my partners have 3 partners, and 1 partner has just me. But dates. I feel like everyone in the expanded polycule has a role. Sometimes that's just activity partner, nesting partner, and for me, I guess I'm the sex partner. Each of my 3 partners has guaranteed 2 times a week with me, where I'm available for sex, and most of the time they arrange a 3rd time each as well. The result is, I have sex 7 to 10 times a week. I kinda don't want to have sex this much, but at the same time, I'm so used to it now that I also get antsy if I've gone more than 12 hours without sex. My partners get a little sad if they think one of my other partners is having more sex, so there is definitely a little competition going on. Though, we're not supposed to mention when people are having sex with each other to avoid FOMO. In many ways, that makes it worse, because everyone assumes everyone else is having sex whenever they're spending time with me, which a lot of the time is true, but only because they feel like they want to keep up.
You may be deterred by some of these stories, but don't let this fool you. Those who are able to engage in polyamorous relationships in a healthy way find themselves much happier than they ever would have been in a monogamous relationship. Okay? Many feel like it's greatly improved their lives to have a larger support system of loved ones that are there when times are tough. And for those who have children, the extra help makes a big difference. In the case of TikTok star Larissa, she claims that polyandry cured her depression, and others feel that the combined income also makes their lives far less stressful than that of a typical 2-person relationship. There's the added bonus of freedom that polyamorous people enjoy, allowing them to experience things that monogamous people may never get to do. Believe it or not, there are even success stories involving a 20-person polycule in Boston. I'd hate to see that Irish mess, dude. You give me all that red hair tangled together. That's a disgusting tumbleweed I don't want to be a part of. Their community began in 2020 and eventually became a large, positive relationship in which everyone feels deeply in love with each other. Together, they learned the proper communication tactics, set boundaries, wingman each other, and schedule their time in a way that appeases all their partners. I call bull. I think people are gonna be like, yeah, it's fine. All right, we're in harmony. I'm like, who's the dogs, dude? Who's the dogs? I want to know who are the secondaries or the thirdnaries. I mean, who's the 20? Who's number 20, dude? It's the guy with the like Jimmy John bags coming in. All right, who had the Italian? That's the 20, dude. But now let's talk about a particularly interesting and strange polycule relationship story. Let's talk about Sam Bankman-Fried's weird poly penthouse. You guys remember Sam Bankman-Fried and his weird gopher mole girlfriend? She threw his ass under the bus, didn't she?
I think so, yeah, she did.
He did all of it. All of it.
She's like trigger fucking someone.
Jesus.
Is that what they were doing? Go in here. You'll find out. Sam Bankman-Fried, known as a cryptocurrency prodigy, became wrapped up in one of the biggest financial scandals in recent history. In 2019, he founded FTX, a massive cryptocurrency exchange and hedge fund. During its peak, it was one of the most successful cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, averaging $10 billion in trading volumes per day. This all collapsed, however, when it was discovered that CEO Sam Bankman-Fried was misusing the funds from his customers. In short, tons of investors began pulling out of FTX, but they did not have the money, leading to its bankruptcy. Fried was later sentenced to 25 years in prison. Something that was revealed amidst the chaos was that Fried and his other company executives were involved in a wild polyamorous lifestyle. So funny. Supposedly, they all operated out of a luxury penthouse in the Bahamas within a 10-person polycule relationship. Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research, was allegedly involved as well, writing graphic blog posts on Tumblr about it. She stated that while she used to be a trad woman, she now realizes that the only acceptable style of poly is best characterized as something like Imperial Chinese harem. If you can't be busting out Imperial Chinese harem and they're not smoking the opium pipe. Those motherfuckers definitely have like an 86-year-old Chinese dude in the back who's just like passing the stuff along. And they're all like lounging on big like satin purple pillows. And that gopher chick's rolling around. That gopher chick freaks me out, dude. She goes on to say that she thinks all relationships should have a hierarchy where there should be a, and I quote, vicious power struggle for higher rank. Like, imagine your relationship right now, your partner looking at you and saying there should be a vicious power struggle for higher ranks in a relationship. It's like, how tall are we going here? You know what I mean? That's a billionaire activity, though. You know what I mean? That's billionaire mindset. We have to crush them all like each other, like cockroaches, survive nuclear winter together.
I was gonna say, this feels just very like power trippy. Like, I want people to be fawning over me.
Yeah, I think it's the jealousy thing. Today, I'm the top dog. I'm not the grunt anymore. But you know, the power struggle changes. Who knows? In a particularly cringy Tumblr post, she chastises boy positivity posts on Tumblr, detailing what she finds attractive in men. One being, quote, controlling most major world governments. Now that is attractive. This is her, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the top dog.
She looks like she was beaten with a wiffle ball bat. Can I just say that? Can I be so bold? You know what? I'm going to be rude because she's a crook. Within their polycule penthouse, they took copious amounts of drugs. There's the opium den. Copious amounts of drugs and swap partners as they pitched billion-dollar ideas. They would take stimulants in the morning and sleeping pills at night. And a high society figure in Miami described his experience meeting them at a crypto conference, stating that they smelled horrible and spent the night popping pills like a bunch of frat bros. You look at Sam Bankman-Fried, you know that motherfucker smells like yeast.
He's a little sweat lord.
Yeah, you ever smell like old rye bread? That's what I imagine Sam Bankman-Fried smells like, just like dry, I don't know, marbly. And it goes without saying, but while there are many success stories in the world of poly relationships, some are darker and have ended much more grim. Like Ezra Miller's polycule cult. People haven't talked about Ezra Miller in a bit. Remember Ezra Miller?
He's so cute. Remember him as the Flash?
Ezra Miller, most recently known for his role as the Flash, was put under intense scrutiny around 2020 over claims that he was operating a commune in Iceland, among other things. While Miller has talked about his polyamorous lifestyle in the past, one of his friends opened up to reporters about how his actions more resembled a patriarchal dictatorship. And another referred to it as court harem.
The power controlling world government.
I'm the Flash. He rented out an Airbnb in Reykjavik, inviting all sorts of friends and artists to come down, some of which being spiritual advisors. Thank God. There, Miller was seen as some sort of idol, according to one visitor, stating that everyone seemed completely hypnotized by him. The actor gave long spiritual speeches, claiming he had superpowers, and at times, he would experience intense mood swings and become enraged at his guests, which is unlike him. There's definitely no footage of him anywhere ever being, I guess, aggressive or mad. That's not like Ezra. Miller's friends detailed his manipulative and abusive behavior in his makeshift commune, saying, quote, Ezra controls all the sex as the man and plays the women against each other, screams at them, belittles them in front of the others. That's fun. One of the women involved with him in Iceland, who was 18 at the time, had sex with him on 3 occasions. During her time staying with him at the hotel, she recounted him becoming weirdly obsessed with her breeding capabilities, worshiping her womb by talking to it and hugging it. All the female viewers right now being like, okay, all right, a man who worships his womb. I do have breeding capabilities. That's what I'd be. If I was a woman, that's what I'd be saying. I'm a breed machine. You don't even know how much is gonna be popping out. Further testimony alleges that Miller had invited teenagers to his commune as well, supposedly engaging in sexual acts with them during their stay. And it seemed that the commune had come to an end in the late 2020, and a string of crimes and signs of mental decline from Ezra Miller poisoned his reputation in the eyes of the public. Whatever happened to Ezra Miller? I feel like he just ran off into the tall grass. We never saw him again. Into the weeds, and you're like, all right. But in some cases, toxic polyamorous relationships have ended in death. In 2018, 31-year-old Aline Sadine's battered body was found on the side of a road in Florida. According to Sadine's close friend, Aline had been entangled in a throuple, or triad, as we know, between two partners, Zachary Abel and Christina Araujo. Zachary Abel, over time, became jealous over the amount of time that Aline and Araujo would spend together. He was unable to adjust to the new arrangements he agreed upon, turning to physical violence. Aline was terrified of Abel at this point, but was too scared to call the police because Araujo's father worked in law enforcement. Her close friend constantly pushed her to leave the relationship before things could escalate, but it was too late. Her body was found, covered head to toe in bruises after being tortured and killed by the couple. Investigators found the motel room covered in blood, putting the pieces together quickly before discovering the body, and eventually the two of them were convicted and arrested. Araujo was sentenced to 20 years and Abel was sentenced to life in prison. We always just gotta throw a little horrible zest at the end, don't you? Instead of putting a cherry on top, we just shoot like the liquid that's in a mustard. You know when you have mustard, it shoots out the mustard piss before the actual sauce. It's like a very fine cake. You're like, oh wow, instead of a cherry, mustard piss all over it. Now, it goes without saying that lots of these crazy stories are the worst case scenarios. They're not indicative of the average poly experience, right? That being said, this type of lifestyle certainly isn't for everyone. It takes a certain kind of person to be able to mentally and emotionally handle being with multiple people at the same time. If you're interested in a poly-style relationship, do your research. If you jump in blind, you're probably gonna get burned.
If I was in a relationship where I had two girls, I don't think I'd ever be jealous of the girl.
Yes, you would.
What?
Yeah, you would.
If I was dating two...
Yes, I understand. If you're dating two people that you're like, actually, I think that the girl's getting it on would be hot. That's what you're saying. You 100% would, especially if you're the secondary, as you said you would have been, right? Then at what point you're like, well, I'm not like that's their relationship and I'm just here. And every once in a while I get to have sex with them, which is cool for a bit. But then I think after a while, you're going to be like, I feel bad. Also, she would sit there and you would get in your head, especially as a man, you get in your head, dude. Doing those things where she's just like, yeah, well, I'd have to finish myself off. Not like with Stacy or whatever, you know? Oh, exactly. You're like, oh. Am I not as good? She's like, no. That's how it would be. So do you really think that you wouldn't be jealous?
To me, it's like, oh, if she fell in love with another guy, that would hurt.
What I'm really hearing, Nick, is being like, I don't have to worry about my being too small. That's exactly what this is. There's no way her bigger than my dick. At least I don't think. I'm stopping this recording. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you. We will see you in the next one. Tell your boyfriend and your girlfriends and your poly relationship I said hi.